Good Thursday evening, Southwest Arkansas. Welcome back to Southwest Arkansas weather here on Thursday, September the 18th, 2025. Taking a look at your evening weather blog for this Thursday evening. We got a lot to talk about. We got a pattern, potential change coming for the beginning of next week with maybe some better rain chances. We got the Friday Night Lights football forecast, and we're going to go in over the details of the upcoming pattern and all of that fun stuff because it's a fun forecast but a complicated forecast as well, just due to all the factors, but we love those type of deals here. Real want to give a big shout out as well. The graphic that you're going to see here in a few minutes, and a little more of the details behind that come to us from our another member here at Southwest Arkansas Weather from Michael Monica Jr. He took care of that graphic and the forecast over on the Facebook side of things today. So you're going to hear what he has typed up for that forecast, and go a little more in details with that. So big thanks to him as well. And make sure to realize this isn't just one man crew. We have two members here, me and Michael, and very blessed to have all that we do have here. And starting off with the 6-day forecast, you can see we do have some rain chances on Friday. I know for football games you're a little worried when you see that, but I want to make sure we're going to go over that here in just a minute with the Friday Night Lights football forecast. For the most part, that's probably going to be in the early half of the day. 50% chance of some scattered thunderstorms, mostly sunny skies, few clouds here and there with highs in the upper 80s, maybe a few lower 90s possible as well. And we'll see what Texarkana decides to do. They hit the upper 90s today. I called them out specifically in the morning forecast based off of the past 2 days of them hitting 100 degrees. So Texarkana, you must have a heat lamp sitting on your gauge down there because it is what it is. But just a little inside joke there with Texarkana. One of the big things we always say, you can look at data, you can always get your general idea for a temperature, but just expect Texarkana to end up overdoing the temperature by a few degrees, even when you try to overdo it yourself. But that's just a funny little statement there. But rest of the 6-day forecast, Saturday, some isolated thunderstorms being a possibility over this weekend. Highs going to be ranging from the upper 80s, lower 90s across the region with 10 to 20% chance of some rainfall there on Saturday and Sunday, more of recently like what we've seen. Today was a little more scattered across the region. Friday is going to be more the first half of the day on Friday. Then we should start to clear as we go later into that afternoon and evening. And then the overnight lows during this time frame are going to range pretty much in the 60s as a good measure for that. Mid to upper 60s, maybe a few lower 60s there. Then as we go into next week, remember, I just want to give you a big heads up with this. These rain chances can easily change. We have what's called a cutoff low, and that could easily change depending on just where that location of that low. Those are extremely difficult to forecast, and that could really affect our rain chances as we go into the first half of next week. So before we talk about the beginning of next week, let's talk about let's pull up our graphic here and let's talk a little bit more about what we're seeing with this. So this forecast is going to be a little bit more complicated. So we're going to break it away from the usual forecast format to discuss the days by the set. The overall forecast through this weekend is going to be fairly straightforward, but the complication comes with the setup early next week. A low pressure system is set to dive southeast from the northwestern United States by late this weekend, and it is forecasted to strengthen. As it does so, it appears the most probable path this system will move between late weekend and early next week, and will be along a line from Washington State down into Oklahoma. This would position Arkansas in a favorable zone for numerous to even widespread showers and thunderstorm activity for early next week. Given the tendency for this system to be smaller in size, models will struggle with it even with a few days day lead time. This is where the complications come in, as some guidance suggests this storm system will stay north enough of the area to keep most of the shower and storm activity north of the area. Current thinking is the system will move down towards Oklahoma by next Monday and Tuesday, which sets up the coverage area up for appreciable rainfall early next week. Ultimately, two scenarios are up for discussion. Scenario one, which is a drier solution, as it has the system tracking just a little further to the north of the area in scenario 2, which is wetter, with a further south system right now leaning this forecast towards scenario 2. And then, as we go into this weekend, just those continued off and on rain chances. Monday through Wednesday, generally expecting rain chances to increase, maxing out across around Tuesday as the aforementioned storm system dives southeast from the northwest United States, provided the current thinking stays in line with widespread rain and cloud cover activity on Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures for this period will likely remain cooler, maybe in the 70s and 80s for highs and lows, and 60s and 70s for lows, but stay tuned for updates as we get closer. Those will be necessary, okay, because like we said, if this leans a little more towards scenario 1, you may have a little more of a drier scenario. If it leans more towards scenario 2, you may have better chances of rainfall. But just something to keep a close eye on with the forecast. Maybe some good news because our drought outlook is continuing to increase some there as well, and we'll talk more about that probably tomorrow. But right now, actually, I'll just mention it. We have normally dry and moderate drought conditions, while eastern Arkansas is starting to see some more severe and extreme drought conditions starting to move into eastern Arkansas, so we need some rainfall. Today was maybe some decent rainfall for some. Other areas just didn't receive it, and that's just how we go with this summer type pattern. So real quickly, before we move forward, let's take a look at some future model guidance. This is the HRRR model. This is going to go through tonight and into the day tomorrow. Remember, model data isn't perfect, but it's one of the many tools we use to build a forecast, so it helps us get the general idea on what could occur as we go throughout the day tomorrow and the rest of this night. So you can see maybe some leftover rain chances, but those decrease before more showers and storms look to try to move into the area coming into the morning time frame, potentially there. And really, as we go into that early afternoon time frame, and should start to move out, may have a few leftover showers across far southwestern Arkansas or southeastern portions of Arkansas as we go into football time frame. So we'll have to watch that closely. But for the most part, dry conditions are expected for football games, although some rainfall will be possible earlier in the day and early afternoon potentially there with that. We're going to really, the first half of the day looks to have the highest rain chances there. So like we said, don't take this model data as perfect, but it helps us just get a general idea on what could occur as we go forward throughout that time frame. So real quickly, let's take a look at the the Friday Night Lights football forecast. Right now, this is our current thoughts. We'll update this tomorrow evening as well. Partly cloudy skies throughout the football games. Maybe a small 10% chance of rain around kickoff, mainly for far southeastern portions of the coverage area, with temperatures around 80 degrees, decreasing into the 70s with 0% chance of rain. Or really, I probably would say 0 to maybe 5-10% there. As we go towards halftime, but by fourth quarter should drop down into the lower 70s, and with partly cloudy skies, 0% chance of some rainfall. So just an interesting forecast period, a lot of detail that goes into it. Just giving you some very brief information over not only our Friday Night Lights football forecast, but what is in store for next week as well, as that could be a little more of a complex ordeal there with that system. And we will continue to watch that closely. But that's going to bring us to the end of today's evening weather blog. Just a brief overview of what could be in store for the next 6 days, and also what's in store for your Friday Night Lights football forecast and Friday overall. Once again, we're going to continue to keep you updated. We'll have radar updates out over on our Facebook page. Make sure to check us out over on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube, and over on TikTok. Facebook's our big source where we post a lot of information throughout the day, so make sure to check us out over there. And as always, I want to say a big thanks to all of our sponsors: Patterson's Credit Union, Southern Dumpster Rental, Landmark Insurance Agency, Palmer's Roofing, and J&S Auto Supply, bumper to bumper. Blessed to work with some great companies here in Southwest Arkansas. Make sure to check them out. And as always, I want to say big thanks to all of our supporters for helping us just a big thanks to everybody for helping us by sharing our posts and all of that fun stuff. This wouldn't be possible without y'all, and we are very blessed to do this. Thank you guys very much, and as always, have a great rest of your Thursday. See you back here tomorrow evening for another look at what's in store for your evening weather blog. Going to be a little bit of an earlier evening weather blog, as Friday Night Lights come into view, so it may be a little more closer to that 4 p.m. time frame. Not going to put any exact times on it, but just a general potential overview on that. But we'll update you with the newest. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening, and have a great Friday. Thank you guys very much for trusting us right here with your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather.